Nobody's listening. I do play that too often, but I don't care because I really like it. That's Julien Vallard, Velard, a French chap. That's a song called Jimmy Dean and Steve McQueen. Good morning. The number to ring if you want to contact this programme, my name is Gerald Michael Anderson, and I'm not like the others. The number to ring is 08459 555 678. When I say I'm not like the others, I don't mean that in any kind of, superior way. It's pejorative. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand when I say when I'm not like the others? And what I'm saying is like, I'm not nice.
That wasn't a very good opener.
What?
It wasn't a very good opener.
I don't care. I explained to the listeners that maybe perhaps I play that too often. Maybe perhaps
I've
you
never
don't
heard
like
that before.
Did you not? It's because you're not listening to this programme. I play that quite often. I'm very fond of it because you know why? It makes me feel good. That's why I play it. And maybe perhaps you say to yourself, that's not the reason why you should play records in the morning. You should play records because you make your listeners feel good. But I feel that if I feel good, the listeners will feel good too. Do you think that's too much?
I think you've got it wrong.
I know, I probably have.
There's a gentleman who was phoning last week. He was trying to get in touch with I would say a boyhood hero of yours. Although you're not connected in any way, but just that you know this person very well. You know of this person. No, you know this person.
Well, just say it. Who is the person?
Charlie. Charlie Heffern.
Charlie Heffern.
A man kept ringing last week when you're
Charlie Heffern,
trying to get in contact with Charlie Heffern.
Charlie
he knows
Heffern,
he lives in Cushendun or Cushendall, so one of the two.
Charlie Heffern is a wonderful man. Charlie Heffern is a goalkeeper.
Was.
May I just say this to you? Mm-hmm. If a goalkeeper is Harry, what's Harry Gregg?
He was a goalkeeper.
No, but he is a goalkeeper.
No, he's not.
He is. A goalkeeper never dies.
What do they do?
They
just keep missing the balls?
they take a corner kick. No. Charlie Heffern was a goalkeeper during Derry City's glory days. And I know there are glory days now, but there were glory days, a long time ago, the 50s and 60s. And I've spoken to him and met him a number of times, and he's a great man. He's the epitome of the sportsman. You know the way all the wee pimply guys now all falling down going, give me more money, my leg's broke, give me more money, he hit me, referee. That kind of stuff. They didn't do that in those days. In those days when a man was kicked, he just carried on. He didn't collapse in a big heap. Anyway.
What age would you have been when you were watching Charlie Heffern?
12 or 13.
Right. So you have nice fond memories of him.
Very fond memories, and indeed when I met him I was not disappointed. First time I met him I think was during one of those special occasions that we had in the Brandywell where maybe perhaps old players were invited back to a special match, maybe playing Benfica or something like that, or Manchester United or something like that. There was Charlie sitting in the stand and I went over and I introduced myself and he was the epitome of a gentleman. I liked him very much indeed.
They say many people say he was the best goalkeeper Gerry ever had.
Yes, I don't believe he ever played for Northern Ireland. I may be corrected on that, but he was definitely world class, I thought. Anyway, never mind this football talk.
I was thinking about you
last
night in my bed.
Don't do that, please. No, please don't.
No, I was thinking, when you were a wee boy,
yes,
an expression came into my head.
Yes, I'm almost afraid to ask you.
No, from the past, an expression from the past. Thanks to you're better paid.
Until you're better paid.
Yeah, did anyone ever say that to you?
That's a very arcane expression, which I have dismissed and indeed consigned to the misty past.
But you've heard it.
I've heard it occasionally, but not in any kind of regular way. Thanks until you're better paid.
Yeah.
I think it's one of your more obscure expressions.
No, it just it was said when you were a wee boy, and that's what I was thinking about you when you're a wee boy. I was thinking about the area that you lived in. You wouldn't have had the opportunity of doing messages, as we call them, running errands. Apart from you, I mean, you did things for the sailors. You know what I mean?
Would you like to rephrase that?
Yes, I would. You ran errands and had a little scheme going with the sailors here in Derry.
Maybe people aren't aware of the depths of my criminality.
Yeah, but
what we used to do was, no, it's important to explain. You can't just gloss over that, because when you say I did things for the sailors, I really do feel as if I should explain that. Many years ago when the world was young, and it revolved just the same as it does today, but at a different pace, Derry/Londonderry is a vastly different place. Before the Troubles, it was the headquarters, I suppose, the home port of the NATO North Atlantic NATO exercises. North Atlantic Treaty Organisation, naval exercises took place in the Atlantic. So all the countries of NATO, there would have been Denmark, no, not Denmark.
I started this. It's my own fault.
No, it's not. I won't be long. I won't detain you. The Sweden, Denmark, Holland, USA, Canada, everybody. Americans were there as well, British, Swedish, everybody. All the sailors were in. But we didn't care about any of them. All we cared, there was thousands and thousands of them, all we cared about were the Americans, because you could talk to them. You didn't want to talk to British guys because they had no money. You couldn't talk to Portuguese guys because they didn't speak English. The only ones you cared about were the Americans, because they were the ones that you understood, because you saw them in the movies. You say, hi there, and they go, hi there, kid. So I used to go down and hang around the boats, right? Yes. What they used to do was they weren't allowed off during the day. They were allowed off at night, off the boat at night, but they weren't allowed off during the day. And there'd be certain little things that they would like, like fresh eggs, and maybe fresh bread, and maybe baps, things like that. Mm-hmm. Maybe a cream finger, things that they didn't have on board. And they'd say, hey, kid, could you get me half a dozen home, what do you call it?
They wouldn't say half a dozen.
Oh, it's 6.
Yeah, an American wouldn't say half a dozen. Hey, kid, give me half a dozen cream fingers.
Hey, kid, get me some cream fingers, hey?
Yeah, but I'd go, say.
If he was Canadian, they'd say, eh? But if he was American, they'd say, hey, kid, get me half a dozen give me 6 cream fingers. And I'd go, all right, mister. And he'd throw me down maybe a half.
That's a lie.
Well, how would I get the money?
I don't know, but it's a lie.
How would I get the money? They're not allowed off the ship. I'm standing at the deck.
Right.
At the dock.
Right.
How do I get the money?
Well, I'll tell you what, you must have been a hell of a catcher.
They throw it.
Throw it what?
You don't have to catch it.
Oh, you did.
He just flicked it down to you.
No, if he didn't catch it, it would fall through the cracks in the boards on the dock side. So it was all big spaces.
Okay, will you tell me how I got the money then?
That's what I don't know.
Did I climb up the side of the ship and take it out of his pocket?
unless you climbed up the gangplank, wormed your way in.
You weren't allowed up the gangplank.
Well, how did you get it? You tried to tell me now that he threw down. I asked you this before. He threw down a couple of quarters.
No.
Half a dollar.
English money.
Tell me this before we go on.
A half crown.
Tell me, much is a bit. An American money.
2 bits.
In American money, what's a bit? It's just it was a line from a song. Them they're sing for 2 bits and a dollar. You have a swinging time or something. How much is 2 bits? It's been annoying me.
I think it's two. I think a bit's 10 cents. And 2 bits is 2 bits, 2 10 cents, which is slightly short of 25 cents. Yeah,
20 cents.
There's no 20 cents coin. There's 2 bits. As far as I know now,
Jeepers, you lived in America for long enough. You know, after coming back from it last week.
These are archaic terms. They don't use them anymore.
Yeah. Do they not?
2-bit punk.
2-bit.
2-bit punk.
Broderick Crawford.
Yeah.
Anyway,
you're not about a 2-bit punk.
Get back to your doctors. And get back to you thanks to your better pay.
Punk like you're a dime a dozen.
Yeah, that's right.
Punk like you are a dime a dozen. Anyway, the fellow would throw me down a half crown, you see. 2 and 6, that's pre-decimal coinage.
And you would catch it.
Which would be like 25p in today's money. No, it wouldn't be. It'd be 12.5p in today's money. And I would catch it, right?
Yeah.
And I'd go off, and I'd get whatever he wanted. And then what you could do was you could maybe perhaps, get... I'm trying to figure out how I got it on the boat.
No. You see?
I can't remember how I got it on the boat.
Right.
Maybe a guy would come down and collect it.
Well, why didn't they give you the half? When did they come down and hand you the $50?
I don't know.
You see?
You got me.
Yes, I know.
Anyway, the point of the whole thing is...
Right, you're back in the dockside now with half a dozen
I'm
cream
standing
fingers.
there...
And you have half a dozen cream fingers.
Yeah.
And you shout, Chucky! Hey,
Chucky!
Rod!
Hey, Rod! Your cream fingers are here.
Aye. And he says, hold on, I'll throw down a line. Right? And he throws down a line.
You've got me.
Aye.
I don't remember how that was done, but it was done. But the point of the story is, don't bog me down in details. The point of the story is, this is where the criminality comes in. What you do is you build yourself a reputation. What you would do is, you get the 2 and 6pence, you bring back the cream fingers, and you give the guy the change. You say, no, keep the change, kid. Keep the change, kid. He says, oh, thanks very much, mister. I love Americans like yous.
Much for cream fingers?
I don't know. Why do you always do this? Just interrupting the flow. People, that annoys people. I'm telling the story.
I'm just trying to think how many cream fingers you would have got in 1960.
Probably 300. Will you stop writing things down and calculating and trying to prove me a liar? So this is the point. The point is that you went back maybe the next day. And I'd say, hey, you're the kid who got me the cream fingers. They were really nice. And I hope that you enjoyed them, mister. There's more where they came from. I'd say, hey, can you get me a box of chocolates for my woman?
Get away. He didn't say that.
Yes, they did.
He did not. Right. So when was he going to see this woman?
That night.
Where's he going to meet her?
I don't know.
Was he... Right. Was she coming on the ship?
No, but he wouldn't get off. He wouldn't get off the ship until about maybe 7 o'clock.
And what?
Shops would be closed.
Oh, your doors, the shop's closed. You see,
7 o'clock?
Right, what time did your uncle's shop close it? Your uncle had a great sweet shop.
24 hours.
You see?
9 to 5.
Yeah, right beside the key.
Will you stop? This is what annoys the listeners. Now, there are listeners out there who want to kill you
I
now.
don't like you telling lies.
But you see, it doesn't matter if I tell lies or not. It's only the radio. But these aren't lies. The point is, stop trying to pull me up on small detail because you ruin the narrative. People have told me this before.
You
in
often
private.
said to me that it's all in the detail.
I know, but it's in real life. But this isn't real life. This is the radio. I'm telling a story. Now, stop pulling me up in detail. So the second time, you go down and say, hey, kid, get me a box of chocolates.
And you would say, what kind?
Milk tray.
Yeah, they're familiar with milk tray in America.
Fruit and nut.
Yes.
Cadbury's, fruit and nut. So I would get this, you see, and then I would build up a relationship with this guy. You see, and they'd be in maybe 3 or 4 days. And then the last day, or wherever it would be, he would trust me. And he would say, hey, kid, what would be dear? Let me think, what would be expensive? What would be expensive? No, they have their own islands.
No.
What would be expensive? A car? No.
No.
So what would be less than a quid? But that was a pound was a lot of money. What would be 15 and... What would be 17 and 6
That he would bring to a girl.
Yeah, what would be 17? Maybe there's some perfume.
Lipstick? A perfume?
Lipstick?
No.
Let's
So
invent
you would
something.
no.
No, it's okay.
A silk scarf.
Old Spice. Hey, go get me a silk scarf, kid. You see? And then he'd do that. And then what he would do is he'd probably... There's no pound coins, right? So he'd probably get a stone and wrap the pound around
That he
it.
had on the ship.
Yeah. And there's a load of stones there. And then he'd throw that to me, and I'd say, right, see you later, mister. I never came back.
You stole the money.
Yeah, that's what you did the last day. You stole the money.
But how did you know they were going out?
Because you always knew they were only in for about 3 or 4 days. But you went down every day. You went down every day. And you get to know, the scuttlebutt. People would tell you stuff. You get to know things. And you'd know the last day. And, you hoped that they'd give you the big money the last day. And they probably would, because that would be the last time he'd see the girlfriend. And if he wasn't getting, that would have been his last chance.
All right.
You'd lay out a bit of money for that, you know what I mean?
So thanks to your better paid. Was that ever said to you?
It was never said to me.
Well, it's
no.
never said to us when we were wee boys in the street, and there was 1 or 2 people that, the people come out of the front door and they shout, look for a wee boy to run to the shop or a wee girl to run to the shop.
That doesn't happen anymore.
No, and they would call you, no matter what you were doing, you're playing, you were
Hey,
called.
Clyde!
You were called, you had to go.
You had to go, yeah.
And you knew, this is a message, but this is thanks to your better paid. There was no money.
In other words...
There was no 3D in it for you.
Exactly.
You
Well, see, behaviour is difficult.
But you didn't have that, you see.
I didn't have that.
You had neighbours.
Of course I had
You had
neighbours.
not.
What am I, some kind of pariah?
You didn't
Of course
have
I had
neighbours.
neighbours.
You hadn't a street.
Everybody lived upstairs in the shops.
You didn't have a street like us.
I had a street like you. But
didn't.
the only thing is that the people who lived in your street were living in little houses,
Yes.
right?
And they
Little
come out the
two
front
up, two
door.
down, and nothing wrong with that.
Yes, they came to
But
the
in
front door.
our street was a commercial street, and there were shops.
Well, how did Mrs. McLaughlin...
Everybody was living upstairs.
How did Mrs. McLaughlin get you? How did she get you to...
She had her own door. Each
came
house had a shop.
She didn't shout out the top window and...
No.
you come up
What do
the
you think?
stairs?
What do you think? The abseiled down the fucking wall to get out? Like, they had
No,
their own door.
but she could have called you.
What is wrong with you? It's all detail. I know it's detail is
It's
important,
all
but
right.
stupid detail.
It's all right for an American to throw money out of a ship to you, but Mrs. McLaughlin couldn't throw $50 down from her top window to you
She
to
had
get a
her
pint of
own
milk.
front door, which she stood at. How do you think she got into the house? She had her own front door
I
at the
know
side
that.
of the shop. Right. She stood there. I don't mind detail. You're right, detail is important, but don't be stupid.
Well, why didn't she go herself? If she walked all the way down the stairs.
Because she was too fat. Anyway, I was telling the people about the programme. Good morning. The programme will start soon. The number to ring if you want to contact this programme is, and I don't know why you would, but you may want to, 08459 555 678. The email address is gerry.anderson@bbc.co.uk. The text messaging service, there are people in their graves in America that I have stolen money from. Do you think I can live with that? No, do you ever think of that? Or corpses that I've robbed. Anyway, but you see, things are different now. Now, have a listen to this. Dear Puppet Chin and Cat's Eye. You're the Cat's Eye because you play middle-of-the-road music.
Yes.
You know that.
I like that.
I was talking to a bloke in the off-licence queue on Sunday. That tells you right away. And he said, why is it that everybody in Northern Ireland gets blittered when the sun comes out for a couple of days?
That's right.
It's absolutely true.
True,
I have
true.
seen on Saturday, no, when did I come back? Sunday, I saw a queue in the off-licence, a queue stretching out to the street at 1 o'clock on a Sunday. These are people who need to get full because the sun is out.
Yeah.
Why is it that everybody does that? Well, he suggests an explanation. I explained to him that it goes back to medieval and before, to primitive times, when people would watch the sun go down and they'd say, where does that big shiny thing go every night, boys? We better sacrifice a goat or a virgin. And there were more of them around then than there are now. We have to sacrifice a virgin so it'll come back Amara. See, people in primitive times, when the sun went down, they didn't know if it was going to come back. They didn't know. Nowadays, we've got satellite weather maps and Cecilia Daily. Do you see how the weather affected Cecilia? Now, maybe you never noticed this. Do you realise how it affected her? What change was in her behaviour over the past few days? I noticed it immediately when I came back from my travels. I noticed that she was different.
Was her
What
blouse
no.
opened a little more than usual? No?
No.
No, what?
What a terrible thing to
No,
say.
it's not. No, he cares.
Flashing it a bit.
No,
because
but Gary would maybe open a second.
showing the
bottle.
goods because the weather's out.
To cool down.
They all do that,
a
but you
little.
wouldn't do that on TV. Not Cecilia, no.
What?
She was sitting down.
No, I didn't see
She was
this
sitting down.
Why?
With her wee legs all crossed.
You can't sit down and
She was sitting
tell
down
you the
telling you.
weather.
You know, at the start of the programme, and she tells you that she's going to tell you about the weather. Frank Mitchell was the fellow that started that. I bet you're wondering what the weather's like today. Here, I'm the weatherman. I'll be telling you later. And you say, so why don't you just tell us now?
I know.
And she was doing that. You're wondering what the weather will hold. We'll tell you later. And you say, tell me now, because it means I have to watch all that crap. Nowadays, we get Cecilia Daily and satellite weather maps.
TV hasn't been on a week.
But we don't trust them. So we get ourselves burnt like Geordie's arse. Except for our skinny white legs and get absolutely hammered on white lightning. Do you ever drink white lightning?
White lightning.
Mad Dog 2020.
No.
You see, you were never the real drink. This is because we know that even if a shiny orb does come back tomorrow, it'll bugger off again for another 6 weeks. I sacrificed a 12-pack of Carlsberg yesterday, so we should have nice weather until about Friday lunchtime when all the civil servants leave the office. I couldn't find one of those things I was talking about earlier in White Abbey.
We were in Sarasota once, and we went down to the beach at night.
Yes.
And there was a circle of Indians.
Really?
Yes. And they had a bit of a fire going, and they had all the drums, and they were beating out this rhythm, boom, boom, watch, and they were watching the sun go down. Mm-hmm. And more people gathered, and the circle got bigger and bigger, and people came along, and people were lifting bits of tin, anything at all, just to make a noise. And some guy was calling out the rhythm, and they changed the rhythm every so often, and they kept on going, constantly beating this drum.
You sure that wasn't the 12th?
As the sun went down, and they kept on and kept on and kept on until the sun disappeared.
No, does that not sound like a 12th? Like people looking at the sun beating drums, lifting bits of tin?
No.
You know that we carry out?
Talkie radio, talkie radio.
Oh, you're in trouble
talkie
now.
Radio. Learn about who the royal prince will court. Aromatherapist hails award. Space shuttle astronauts have to abort. Government stamps. Opposition's retort. Tourists play sport at the Spanish resort. Southeast England traffic report. Tune to the station of your choice. A Welsh comedian called Max Boyce. Portrait of an Artist by James E. Joyce. Politician talk about a big Rolls Royce. A free kick choice. The fans rejoice. A DJ talks in an American voice.
Hi there.
Talkie radio at your dial glance. Talkie radio, give us a chance. Talkie radio, let's have a dance. Talkie radio, I'm in a trance. Talkie radio, talkie radio, talkie radio, talkie radio, talkie radio, talkie radio, talkie.
Don't wanna hear about it.
Talkie radio,
Every single one's got a story to tell. Everyone knows about it. From the Queen of England to the hounds of hell. And if I catch it coming back my way, I'm gonna serve it to you.
that's over.
It's here.
That's very quick.
No.
That was Lenny Kravitz, and that's a song called, let me just check what that was, Are You Going My Way? Did you see The Hunger Games?
No.
Lenny Kravitz was in that.
No.
He was very, very good too. So you don't see anything. Dear Gerry, my significant other, these are some messages from the people. Let me just check this. Hold on a second. Hold on. What is this? Right. Sorry, I'm just doing something technical here. Sometimes you have to do... You see, I thought that record was longer, and I didn't have time to do all the wee things I do. Look, I can't do anything now. Look, the whole thing's gone.
Putting a CD in is hardly classed as doing something technical.
It is
It's
technical.
not.
Technical to me.
You're putting on a CD.
But hold on a minute. There's only... There's
What?
supposed to be 12 tracks on it. There's only 5. What's wrong with this thing? Hold on a second. This doesn't say what
The
it
people
says
can't
in-
hear you.
Oh, can they not? I'm sorry. Anyway, my significant other, the lovely Josephine, has accused me of telling the same story over and over again. In my defence, I said that some people had never heard it, to which she says, everyone is sick and tired of hearing it. For the benefit of your other listener, one time, many years ago, when I was young, I did not eat my porridge, despite my mother's threats, emotional blackmailing about the starving children, and then a clip round the ear, at which point she snatched away the porridge and screamed, one day you'll be glad of that porridge! Many years later, I was trekking in the Pyrenees Mountains. Bad weather set in. We were stuck on the mountainside, camping stove failed, eventually ran out of food, cold and hungry, and I said to myself, now's when I want that porridge. You see? Now your other listener knows the story, and the lovely Josephine is right. Everyone has heard it. You see? This is the thing. You don't realise how important it is to tell stories. Another gentleman is upset with me. The heat must be getting to you, Gerry. Put the hanky on the head and leave Coyle alone. Have I been victimising you today?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Chill out and get on with the show. Have I been victimising you? Seriously, I didn't think I was.
Apparently you're right.
What?
In America, they do say half a dozen. Get me half a dozen cream fingers.
They do, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
There's only one word that people don't understand in America. They understand it, but they never use it. And every time... I told you about this before.
I know what it is.
What? It's a word that we use. And
Yes. It's
whenever
used.
we use it over there, they
It's
always
not,
ask
not
you to-
we. It's not we. It's you. But not just... When you say we, who do you mean?
I mean, us Northern Ireland people.
No, it's used in England as well.
I'm the only one? No, okay.
No,
well,
it's used in England.
Yeah, they use it
and,
in England.
and in Scotland.
and
in
Wales.
Wales.
And in Wales, yeah.
And down in Dublin.
And Benidorm, yeah.
Right, okay.
Isle of Man,
Yeah,
Scilly Isles,
right. They just don't use it in America.
Isle of Wight. They don't use it in America.
Ah.
And whenever you say it in America, they always say, hey, say that again. But I think they like the way we say it. And that was the point I was making. See, if English people say it, it's not remarkable. Americans would never say it because Americans don't like English people. And if an English person said this, the American would never say, hey, say that again.
Well, I heard on the news this morning that more and more people here now are using American expressions and using American words.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Did you hear that?
And one of the things that
disturbing.
surprised me was a gentleman was upset at we used the term tuxedo. I've always used the term tuxedo.
Well, I
What would
couldn't
you
get
call
that.
it?
Why? What's wrong with that? A tuck? Get the old tuck
I'm
out.
talking about diapers,
Diaper, I don't like that really.
nappies.
Yeah.
A bit is 12 and a half cents. I told you that.
You did.
No, using only 2, 4, or 6 bits. That is a quarter, a half, or 3/4 of a dollar. Does that make sense to you?
No.
A quarter, a bit? No, that's wrong. Hold on a second. Let me just check this.
As a bit, not a quarter.
In the US, a bit is it? Oh, we're running out of time. We'll do it after. Right, back after 11. Can you hear me now?
On 92 to 95 FM,
and 1341 medium wave.
this is BBC Radio Ulster.
It's 11 o'clock and with the BBC News, this is Keith Burnside. At least 8 people are reported to have been killed in a strong earthquake that shook northern Italy this morning. It's the second earthquake to hit the region in just over a week. A search for a missing teenager at a flooded quarry near Strabane is due to resume around now. 17-year-old Rhys Jack was one of a group of 4 who fell into the water from a makeshift raft. The other 3 were rescued. A police officer has told the Supreme Court in Mauritius that the hotel room in which John and Michaela McAreevy were staying was in disarray just after the murder. Details have been emerging this morning. The two men charged deny any involvement in the killing. Natasha Sai reports.
The most senior police officer to view the crime scene in the immediate aftermath of the killing told the court that the bath in which Michaela McAreevy's body was placed was 3/4 full and appeared to be stained with blood. He said the room was disturbed and that a drawer in the bathroom was lying open, its contents in disarray. He was also asked why initial police records referred to Mr McAreevy as the suspect and the accused. The inspector said he didn't know why his colleagues had written this. He was also asked why a police officer was posted outside the hotel room to which Mr McAreevy had moved. He replied, Mr McAreevy was a foreigner. He had just lost his wife in a murder case. We wanted to provide police assistance with due respect for victim support. The trial continues.
A mobile phone operator has said it's planning to begin selling smartphones with radiation detectors in Japan. Many people in the country remain concerned about radiation levels since last year's earthquake and tsunami, which caused a meltdown at the Fukushima nuclear plant. Here with the sport, Michael McNamee.
One of European football's most talked about players looks set to sign for Chelsea. 21-year-old Belgian midfielder Eden Hazard announced on Twitter that he is leaving Lille to join the Champions League winner. Rangers Northern Ireland striker Kyle Lafferty has been linked with the move to Huddersfield Town. The Republic of Ireland and England will submit their European Championship squads to UEFA today. TT expert John McGuinness set the fastest superbike lap during first practice on the Isle of Man last night. Ballyclare rider Johnny Ray was just denied a World Superbike victory in Salt Lake City by Italian Marco Melandri. And Tyrone boss Mickey Hart has suggested he could ask some of the county's recently retired players to help out on the pitch during the team's current injury crisis.
The weather now with Barabest.
It's a bright day with some good spells of sunshine and just a light breeze at times. It'll be just 1 or 2 degrees cooler than of late, but temperatures this afternoon will still get into the low 20s. Cloud forming today will bring the odd shower, which may be heavy, but for most it will stay dry. Any showers will die away during the evening with some late sunshine to end the day. Then it'll be a cloudier and damper night with some outbreaks of rain.
BBC News.
BBC Radio Ulster. Travel news.
In Newtownards, John Street remains closed between the roundabout and South Street because of a gas leak. In Belfast, the broken down car on the Saintfield Road close to Purdy'sburn Hospital has been cleared and traffic is moving well. And in Armagh, the A29 Moy Road is closed for roadworks towards Armagh until the start of July. Traffic is being diverted via College Lands Road, Clovendon Road, Ballygasson Road and the Lochgall Road. However, the road is open for motorists towards Moy. Aileen Moyner reporting.
Travel news on BBC Radio Ulster.
On Talkback with Jim Fitzpatrick today, we'll have the latest on the search for the missing Strabane teenager who fell into water in a disused quarry. The letters are out today. If you've got an 11-year-old, you'll know what I'm talking about. The 11 Plus is gone, but selection isn't. Our transfer test's here to stay. Will new laws on new drivers really mean lower insurance? We want your calls on that. Monty has a Lockheed Golf Club. What's your sporting superstition? Share that with us. And gardeners beware. The link between compost and Legionnaire's disease. All that on Talkback at 12.
He sounds very strict, doesn't he? In the US, who is that?
That's Jim.
Jim who?
Fitzpatrick.
Sounds like a schoolmaster.
I like him.
Yes, nice big guy, but he sounds like a schoolmaster. He sounds as if he's a fella just about to hit you. In America, the bit as a designation for money dates from the colonial period, when the most common unit of currency used was, of course, the Spanish dollar, also known as a piece of 8, which was worth 8 silver Spanish reales. 1/8 of a dollar, or 1 silver reale, was known as 1 bit, right? With the adoption of the decimal US currency in 1794, there was no longer a coin worth 1/8 of a dollar, a bit, but 2 bits remained in the language, with the remaining 1/4 dollar. 4 bits is half a dollar, etc. Because there was no 1 bit, or dime, 10 cents, which is what I said, it was often called a short bit, and 15 cents was a long bit. So basically, 2 bits is 20 cents. And 1 bit, which doesn't exist, is 10 cents. Are you happy now? One of the things I think is important is that, do you remember you were talking about the Indians in Sarasota?
Yes.
We have a recording of that.
Oh, no.
Hey!
That's you with the Indians, remember?
Man is coming to realize that if he is going to survive, he must learn from the Indian. He must learn to take better care of the land, reverse his greedy practices, and learn responsibility to the Earth Mother. He must learn to share it with the winged ones, the four-leggeds, and the fish as well. There is beauty and value in a desolate place left just as it is. Let his greed and arrogance disappear. Let him say, the earth is our mother. Then, man will come alive again. Hey! Hey!
When the covered wagons were circled, and the boys were sitting at the campfire, it was only attack in the morning, and that's what you heard.
Been down one time, been down 2 times. Never gone back again. Da-dum, 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 da-dum. Been down one time, been down 2 times. Never going back again. Don't know what it means to win. Come down and see me again. Been down one time, been down 2 times. Never gone back again. Da-dum, 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 da-dum. Been down one time, been down 2 times. Never gone back again.
That's Northern Ireland band, the Salt Flats. That's a song called Never Going Back Again. That's an old Fleetwood Mac number, originally recorded by old Fleetwood Mac. A gentleman writes to me from Switzerland, very upset. And he said, are you on drugs? Well, yes and no. That was the White Stripes, not Lenny Kravitz. I know it was. I'm sorry about that. I made a mistake. And the reason why I made a mistake, this gentleman points it out, and he's absolutely correct. Now you're making the same mistake as Big Gerry Kelly does regularly. Namely, playing music that you know nothing about. Then when anything goes wrong with the equipment, or someone asks you a question, you're left exposed. But in general, you're doing not too badly. Well, I have to where's this man from? Is he nothing to do in Switzerland? Anyway, actually, you're absolutely right. That record I played by the White Stripes, it did jump. And when it finished rather suddenly, I couldn't remember what it was. I looked at the record and it was wrongly labelled. And it said Lenny Kravitz, which is why, in actual fact, what happened was the CD I had in was not the one that was supposed to be there. It was supposed to be a different one in the jacket. Is that enough?
What does that mean?
What do you mean?
Oh, you had a different CD.
Different CD. When you panic, you look at the CD and say, what was that track to? And then it's not that. So I apologise. It wasn't indeed the White Stripes. I'm sorry. It wasn't Lenny Kravitz, but he was in the Hunger Games.
Mary is on one.
Is she? Hello, good morning, Mary.
Good morning, Gerry.
How are you today?
You need to speak up. I can hardly hear you.
Can you? Well, that's one of the things that we have tried to do something about, but failed miserably.
Right.
Can you hear me a bit better now?
Yeah, a wee bit.
Okay. What seems to be wrong with you today?
I was listening to Sean and you discussing running messages when you were younger, and again, if you were fortunate if you got 3D, but mostly it was that'll do you till you're better paid type of thing.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Go back in memory now. This is more than 70 years ago.
Yes.
And well, in those days you were fortunate if you got a penny, one of the old pennies.
Yes.
Well, a lot of us were playing rounders. Do you know what rounders were?
Yes.
With a ball, and outside this lady's house, and her own two boys were playing with us.
Uh-huh.
But she came out and she called me, and she said, would you do a wee message for me?
Yes.
I said, yes. Now, I was about 7 or 8 year old.
Uh-huh.
So I went round to the shop, right round. Good wee bit I had to go. But before I went, she said, I'll have something nice for you when you come back.
Uh-huh.
So I came along with the message, wondering what I was going to get. So she took it off me and thanked me very much. Just wait a wee minute. And she came and she gave me a cold potato.
There's people in the famine would have thanked you for that. A cold potato.
A cold potato. that was just something nice.
Well, it's all a matter of relativity, really, isn't it?
It is indeed. So I thought I would share that with you.
Bit of salt in that, you'd have been laughing. Okay, thanks very much, love.
Okay, now. Bye.
Bye. Could you keep these things a little current, Sean?
Yeah, but was the potato cooked?
Cold potato?
Yeah.
Yes, it would have been.
How do you know? You never asked.
Because you'd never say a cold potato if it was a raw potato.
But you don't know.
I didn't have to ask.
No, why not?
I assumed that. I assumed it was cooked, a cold potato. If you give a person a potato, you don't say, oh, that's a cold potato. A cold potato is the opposite of a hot potato. Therefore, a hot potato is one that's cooked. A cold potato is one that has been cooked, but has been allowed to cool down.
That's the same as
a raw potato.
That's the same as the pasties and the tax.
Everybody's saying pasties in the news. Have you noticed that? About George Osborne taking away the pasty tax. They're saying pasty. It's not pasty, it's pasty.
Yeah, but it's the same thing.
These people.
If it's hot, it's taxable. If it's not hot, it's not taxable. If it's hot, it's taxable.
You're calling her a tax dodger because she took this cold potato?
You don't know if that spud was hot or cold or cooked or raw.
I know. She said cold potato.
But it could have been a boiled potato.
No, you wouldn't have called it a cold potato.
And there's something nice for you. She could have put a bit of salt on it.
This is the very thing I'm trying to stop you doing. Please do not get bogged down in unnecessary detail. A gentleman writes to me for some strange reason. I don't know why he does this. I'm sure you heard by this time the sacking of Kenny Dalglish by Liverpool. Has he been sacked?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Oh, he was sacked in your absence.
Was he? I could not get this information to you sooner, but my good friend in Ballyclare, Bert McCormick, was able to tell me that the Clancy brothers and Tommy Makem did a good version of The Leaving of Liverpool. Will you play that? Why do people do this to me? Why do they do this?
There's a wee call for you.
Is there? One or two?
One.
Hello, good morning, one. I call you one because I know no better. Hello? There's nobody there. I'll try two. Hello? Nobody there either. Sean, there's nobody there. On either one.
There is.
No, there's not. What? Give me a clue as to who it might be.
Well, it says here, Meanie. Oh, it's gone. No. They're gone. I don't know what happened there.
That's not good enough.
All you young men, draw near now, hang your ear to the words I'm going to say. I'm going to tell you that the people of Ireland are emigrating to America. Ah, yes, indeed, they're emigrating. This poor country they can't stand. Well, they put their foot on board of a ship and they're sailing away to the Yankee land. And the night before they're due for leaving, all the neighbours in the house do throng for to take a farewell glass or otherwise to sing a song. And they dance all night till the early morning, each man cutting around the floor. And the mother she comes and says, weep and see our children to the door. Father looks around the cabin and he sees that he is all alone. Surely his poor heart is breaking, his salt tears would melt a stone. Hurrah for the gallant sons of Erin, this poor country they can't stand. Well, they put their foot on board of a ship and they're sailing away to the Yankee land. And the other day, as I went walking down the road I chanced to go, I saw a crowd to me approach, and it surely filled my heart with woe. For I saw the carriages and the coaches moving onwards, forwards to the train, and all the handkerchiefs were waving, bidding goodbye to Granuaile. Hurrah for the gallant sons of Erin, this poor country they can't stand. Well, they put their foot on board of a ship, they're sailing away to Yankee land. Friends will meet them with good cheer, saying how's our Ireland and how's she doing and how's she coming on this year. She's the most distressed and cursed nation in this world that e'er was seen. Sure, all are good for us process serving in that little Isle of Green. Ah, yes, indeed, they're emigrating from the land they love so dear. And any man that isn't married will double the wife he'll get this year. Hurrah for the gallant sons of Erin, this poor country they can't stand. Well, they put their foot on board of a ship, they're sailing away to the Yankee land. Hurrah for the gallant sons of Erin, this poor country they can't stand. Well, they put their foot on board of a ship, they're sailing.
That's a great song. I'd never heard it before. It's Sailing Off to Yankee Land. That's from Sean Donnelly. His new album was called Cut a Long Story Short. And somebody asked me about him. There's an email address, a website, you can get that. www.seandonnellyfolkmusic.com. SEANDONNELLY folkmusic.com. That's really good. A lady called Michelle says that she lost her job at the Salvation Army kitchen last week. She worked in the kitchens, and she said maybe perhaps it's not a good idea to say, hurry up, some of us have got homes to go to.
There's a wee call for you.
Fun.
Well, a man's found a set of keys of a Ford car.
Exciting.
And, Yeah. And he's handed them into the bus station at Laganside in Belfast if anyone lost their car keys.
Did he really?
Yeah.
That's a man with some good sense of responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Any chance of playing some music? You're like a married couple.
There's a wee call for you.
Is that right? Is that the people think of us? A married couple? My God. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Anderson.
Good morning, how are you?
this morning?
Hello, sorry, how are you?
All right. You mentioned Charlie Heffron.
Sorry, I mentioned what?
You mentioned Charlie Heffron. Are you there?
Charlie.
Oh, it's one of those.
Did you hear that? Yeah, it turns on your
But I heard it first time.
I thought he said Charlie Chaplin.
Charlie Chaplin.
Well, here, do you want to hear my story?
Yes, I do.
Charlie Heffron, I was a small boy. I was only about 11 or 12 year old, just after the war. And I lived in the Craigie area of East Belfast. And Shorten Harlands, now better known as Bombardier, or whatever you call them now, they had playing fields near to where I lived.
Mm-hmm.
And as a small boy, I used to go over with other young lads who used to watch a team called Shorten Harlands, who played in the amateur league.
Yeah.
And there was a goalkeeper called Charlie Heffron.
Yes.
And that's the man that you're talking about.
Is that right? Was that before he came to play the Derry City, I suppose?
Yes, if my memory serves me right, he went from Shorten Harlands to Derry City.
He was a great role model.
I
But nobody knew what a role model was then.
No.
But that's what he was.
But he was a great goalkeeper.
He was a great goalkeeper, yeah.
He
Very
was
agile, like a cat.
He was a tremendous goalkeeper. There's no doubt about it.
Great agility.
Yes, indeed. But it just brought back memories of football, like a whole lot of other young fellas. We lived it.
That's right,
and the memories that it evokes when you mentioned his name there. You know, we used to go over to the field to watch Shorts playing, and you'd have smelt the smell of the net, or the rigging, as they called it, and you'd have seen the players coming out, and there was a couple of caretakers off the football grounds, and they were a quaint old couple, and you call them Mr. and Mrs. Steenson, and if anybody's listening, they would remember them, and again, it would evoke memories for them, and they were a really quaint old couple. But Mr. Steenson, he put a notice up at the bottom of the lane which led up to the football grounds, and I can still see it to this day, and it was Shorten Harlands FC Club. And I always remember that saying, Shorten Harlands FC Club.
Yeah, that's unique. Yeah.
And I thought it was very funny. And
I'm afraid to ask you why. Anyway, I get your point about smells. Smells are very important. The smell that I always associate with football was whenever I used to go and see Derry City, I used to stand at the little dressing room, which is the same one they have today, little tin hut. And basically the players used to run down the steps, and I used to stand and watch them all running past. The smell of germaline.
Yeah.
Germaline. They used to put that in their legs, so it probably, I don't know why they did that. So their legs would be kind of very slidey, slippery, so that you couldn't get the boot would glance off you or something. I don't know why they did that, but they did that. That's a very strong smell. And even when I smell that now, I always think of football.
Just when you stay briefly on Derry City, there was a man used to report on the Irish League matches called David Gilliland. Do you remember him?
I do actually, yeah, vaguely.
David used to give the reports, and I was a Cliftonville supporter, and we had a ferocious left back called Herbie Hegarty.
Herbie Hegarty?
Yeah, I'm sure you remember Herbie. But I'll never forget it, that David Gilliland was giving the report on the Derry City Cliftonville match, and he said words to this effect, that the Cliftonville left back Hegarty, he says, I've never seen a more dirty player in all my life. Because Herbie had the mentality, if you see it, kick it, and if you don't see it, kick it. And that was the type of Herbie.
Dirtiest player ever. Praise indeed.
So as I said, Charlie Heffron has brought back a lot of happy memories. Is he still alive, Gerry?
He is indeed, as far as I know.
He is indeed.
A lovely man.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Well, good man. Thanks for that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. What smells do you associate with particularly important aspects of your life? There's one smell that
Well, there's
stands
one
out
smell.
for me.
I smell the same smell as you smell.
I hope you don't.
Yeah, I do. There's a smell that I smell now, but there's
At this moment?
No. Yes. Well, not now as we sit here. But there's a smell. There's a smell of fresh bread, of course, being made. You know what I mean? But in particular, there's one smell which is quite close to you. You know what I mean? It's a smell that's close to your heart. And
I remember a person saying to me one time, just before you go any further, I remember being in the car one time with a member of my family, and we were driving somewhere, and there was this terrible smell, and this member of my family said, "Is that near the pig factory?" So this smell is beside me.
Yes. And also, you see, you would have missed out too on the smell. You never had a local football team.
Of course I had.
No, you had not.
Of course I had.
You hadn't.
You don't think I had anything.
Well, tell me the name of it.
We didn't have one.
You see, you missed all that. Do you remember the stuff the boys used to rub on their legs? Put it in.
Germaline.
It was not Germaline.
It was Germaline.
It wasn't Germaline.
What was it then?
Germaline was for spots.
What was like something like Vaseline, was it?
No.
Germaline?
No,
that's
that's another name. I just
it smelled like, well, that smell. And Germaline
That's
is what
that
I mean.
smell. They rubbed it on their legs like an oil or something.
That's linseed oil.
No. It's come on, you're
Jay's fluid.
No, you're nearly there.
Germaline, I know that
It's not
smell.
Germaline. It's a smell akin to Germaline, but it's not. It's
Well,
not,
tell me what it is.
I don't know. It's something oil. It's and
Like
football-
Vic.
Yes.
Smells like
aye.
Vic. Okay, listen, let's move on, okay?
Well, there's a call for you. on
What's the
too.
smell that you like? Is that the smell you're
no,
talking
the
about?
smell that I like. And
What is it?
The smell that was close to you was the shop beside you.
Oh, Chandler's.
Yes.
McLaughlin.
Yes.
Oh, what a smell.
Yes.
The
And
smell of
another
ropes and oil and
Yes.
sawdust.
Yes.
All those smells,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
The smell that I...
McMichael's.
McMichael's, yeah.
And
we
the
used to-
other smell is from Brook Park Library.
Brook Park Library. The smell of knowledge.
The smell of the polish on the floor.
The polish on the floor. No, another one I remember. What I remember is when we used to... I lived down beside the docks, and they used to pile up all these pine trees, logs, to be shipped out.
Yeah.
And when you walk past there, you got the most beautiful smell of pine. That's what I always associate with the docks. Whenever I smell pine, I'm walking down Derry Docks now. That's where the Peace Bridge is now. So, you know, listen, this is turning into Darby and Joan. Stop
They weren't
that.
there. They weren't there.
Down a bit then.
They weren't there. They
Down
weren't
a
there.
bit.
Where? Down where?
Down a bit where the Peace Bridge is. Down
No,
a
it's
bit.
not. Yes, down.
Down a bit.
Yeah.
Why must you be so horrible?
There's another call for
Ruin everything for me. Hello, good morning.
God love you.
You ruin everything for me. Where is this call?
2.
What are the people thinking when they hear this programme? I mean, we must do some research.
Hello.
Hello, it would probably throw us off if they find out the truth. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. I can't actually hear you.
Well, that's always an advantage in many ways. Is that better?
What?
You see, this is one of the problems that we have here, and we haven't. Even Ken can't solve it, and he's baldy. Can you hear me a little better now?
I can hear you a little better now.
Okay,
yeah.
sorry, that's the thing we have to put up with. I'm sorry.
Okay, look, I'm sorry because this is a story akin to the previous gentleman you were speaking to.
Yes.
It's just when.
Is it about smells?
No, but Charlie Heffron.
Oh.
I'm sorry about this.
Sorry.
Wintergreen.
Thank you.
He's right. Liniment.
All right,
Liniment and
thanks.
wintergreen.
Liniment and wintergreen. Yeah, well, that's what I meant by Germaline.
Yes.
Yeah, but anyway,
Go ahead.
you still there?
Yes, indeed. Yes, go ahead.
Good man. When I was a very young boy, probably about 1956, I was about 10 years old, and I came home from primary school,
Yes.
and my mother says to me, "You're going out."
Uh-huh.
I said, where am I going? She says, "Your father's in strike. He worked in a shipyard."
Right.
So he was in strike quite a lot.
Yes.
And he's going to take you to Cliftonville.
Seaview? No. What's their ground?
Solitude.
Solitude. Sorry, because
I said, "Oh, right, what's?" And she says, "The Linfield are playing Derry City
Yes.
in the semi-final of the Irish Cup."
Yeah.
And just as inside, there was a young man playing there. He was only 16 years old. His name was Brian Wright.
Ah, it's your friend.
Yes.
Your friend of yours.
Yes, that's
yeah.
right. Yes.
Right, but it's not really about Brian Wright. Charlie Heffron practically played Linfield on his own that day. I mean, it was the most amazing thing you ever seen in your life. I mean, seriously, I mean, he was, I stood there as a 10-year-old boy, just completely enthralled.
Well, he just lining up to fire at him, was
It was like shooting in right from the start. And there was even one which was a Jeff Hurst one.
Yes.
You know, the guy had the ball and he pushed it under the crossbar, and it came down and either crossed the line or didn't cross the line. You know, but I mean, it's great protest and all. But I mean, he was probably the best goalkeeper I've ever seen in the Irish League.
I think you're probably right. You know,
he was. I mean, you know, that is the sort of thing. I mean, what, it's 56 years ago or something like that, or whatever it is.
They were probably making £3 a week.
Yeah, I probably wasn't even getting £3 a week.
Probably.
But it's really nice to hear he's still alive, and I hope he's in good health.
Oh, he is indeed. Yeah, as far as I know. Yeah, I'm sure we'll hear before the.
So,
have you heard anything, Sean? Is
I've been speaking to his daughter already this morning.
Oh, for God's sake.
2 daughters actually phoned the programme, and
Really?
one phoned last week. Yes, he's great.
Hale and hearty, is he?
Absolutely great.
You see, there you are. Well, listen, thank you for that. That's nice memories. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. I get a wee bit worried about this. You know, I want to be down with the kids.
I know, but
nostalgia thing, you know. It's you always started.
No, but you started talking about smells. The smells.
No, you always. I started, but you keep it going. I started, and then I realise what I've started, and I try and stop it, but you keep it going. It's all your fault. It's all your fault.
I'm sorry.
When I'm walking these streets and I'm counting my steps and I'm dragging my feet, 'cause I ain't ready yet to start over again. 'Cause every time that I do, I remember you.
Well, you broke my heart and it healed alright. Now we're far apart and I don't lie awake at night, but every once in a while, right out of the blue, I remember you.
You never ride and I never call, and I don't miss you tonight. I'm just curious, that's all. Do you still have dreams? Did they all come true? Does it ever seem like you'll never make it through? Do you ever miss me the way that I do when I remember you? When I'm walking these streets,
You broke my heart,
and counting my steps,
but it healed alright.
and I'm dragging my feet.
Now we're far apart.
Don't lie awake at night. Every once in a while, right out of the blue, I remember you. I remember you.
That's Steve Earle and indeed, who else? Emilio Harris, and that's a song called I Remember You. That's it. I'm not quite sure what that's from. A little announcement, our good friends here in Derry Stoke London, Derry the Foyle Hospice. Could you please help us out with our female walk, which takes place this Sunday the 3rd of June. The ladies are slowish, getting their entry forms back to us this year for our 13th annual female walk. So we need the message that we are open and taking entries right up until Saturday. We've extended our opening hours at the fundraising office here on Culmore Road to 8 p.m. every night this week, so no excuses. We'll also be open on Saturday from 10 to 3. We're also taking registrations at our hospice shop in Waterloo Place, Derry/Londonderry, from 10 o'clock till 5, Monday to Saturday. No excuse. Entry is £7, so call into the fundraising centre or shop to register and collect the packs. Let the ladies know. It's a rather fantastic pink T-shirt this year. You'll be pleased at that. You were wearing a lovely pink jumper yesterday.
Was I?
Mm.
I didn't think you noticed.
I did. Speaking of men's apparel, a gentleman writes to me and wants to know what we think about men walking the roads and in shops with their tops off because of the good weather. I think sometimes it's a mistake. There's a lot of muffins about. Do you know what a muffin is? Mm-hmm. A lot of muffins about. You see, but men, there's only very, very few men can take their shirt off because men live very unhealthy lives in this country of ours. And they're lying, drinking beer and watching football. And you see, after a year of that, and then the sun comes out and you take your shirt off, you can see the evidence of it. The old hairy belly, you know, and the folds of fat over the top. What do you like? You're bad, I think.
You think so?
You're bad, yeah. Evidence of a wasted winter. Sarah and Jack are listening in Scotland, and they say that it gives them the heebie-jeebies.
What does?
There's only 2 of them left now. Gerry, you have to watch last week's Have I Got News for You on the iPlayer. I already have. William Shatner is the guest host. Totally surreal. I don't think he quite knew where he was, to be honest with you. Play something from his Has Been album in celebration of this nutter. Well, I'm not convinced. I think I was looking at that, and he's either sending the thing up or else he's not quite sure where he is. It's very hard to tell. I have a feeling that he's sending it up. Now, I saw him, when I was in Canada last week, I saw an episode of a Canadian show, a cop show. I can't remember what it was called now. But he played a part of an alcoholic in it. You know, a criminal alcoholic. Mm-hmm. An alcoholic who was a criminal. And he was great. He was fantastic. That guy, there's no way he's gaga. No way. But I think he was just sending it up. Gerry,
sorry for interrupting you.
That's quite all right.
But before you go, last week, there was no complaints about the phone when I was on the programme. About the quality. People not one person said they couldn't hear me.
That's because you're loud.
Yeah, but why is that? I mean, you've got a new microphone.
Yes.
It was fixed for you before you went away.
Yes.
And you said it's great, and you blamed the microphone all along. So Ken supplied you with a new microphone. You said it's fixed, and now people are complaining this morning. I think it might be that actual studio that you broadcast from.
Or do you go in the other one?
Yes.
Well, I've always said this place is hammered.
Yeah.
Gerry, keep her lit. Is there any chance you can find out when the 2012 Belfast Chili Fest has been held? Oh, very shortly, actually. But they're not doing the chili thing this year, as far as I know. I don't think they're doing the food element this year, which is why it was called Chili Fest. Hold on a second. When are we doing that? Yes, open air festival? We're not quite sure. We're not quite sure. Okay, sorry. I was just working on information that I thought I had. I'm not quite sure. I can't say one way or the other. I was away, so I was. Were you here?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Neither do I. I'm thinking there's 3 different festivals. I'm mixing them all up. But I don't want to say anything in case I get it wrong. Have you ever heard the American word catawampus, spelt as spoken here? Catywompus. I heard it on TV. It means a bit wonky. No, I must confess. I heard from your programme that putting on a record is also applied to putting on a CD. I can visualise putting on a record, but I usually insert a CD. Does this qualify as nitpicking? I'll hand that over to Sean. He'll query me.
Yes. It's easy for you to say, isn't it? Yes.
Your show is awesome, says Katie in America. A man's gold sovereign ring has been lost in the area of the Clandyboy Cemetery in Newtownards. The ring means a lot to the person who lost it.
There's the thing you never see now.
A gold sovereign ring. Stop that. There'll be people ringing up about it. There is a reward for the person who finds it. A gold sovereign ring.
You never see men wearing it.
No, you don't.
Very few. Do you remember one time?
Very few.
Yeah.
Very few indeed.
Funny, I always associated gold sovereign rings with horse traders and men who would deal. No? That's what I thought too, yeah. I think you're right.
played a track yesterday from Sean Tyrrell. People like him. So do I. Here's
I
another
have
one.
no money, the old man said, not even a penny to buy me bread. I sit alone by the dockyard wall, hear the wind blow, my country's call. They gave my son a gun of steel to go and fight while I sit and kneel and pray that he will come back someday, not find me dying of foreign clay, and pray that he will come back someday, not find me dying of foreign clay. A 1,000 years my eyes have seen, and I smell the blood on this land so green. The cannons roll, brave men die, all around here the women cry. The cannons roll, brave men die, all around here the women cry. At my feet a flower grows, its petals are white like the morning snows. The flower of truth, who will see? Only the wind and God and me. The flower of truth, but who will see? Only the wind and God and me. Only the wind and God and me.
That's Sean Tyrrell. I'm not quite sure if it's Tyrrell or Tyrrell. Tyrrell. That's from an album out now. It's called Walker of the Snow. And that's a track called Old Man and the Flower. There's something about him, isn't there? Something really good. Look at this. Patrick Kavanagh's writing to me again. Between him and Seamus Heaney, I've nothing else to do. God is good to Patrick Kavanagh. I have been blessed with the vision of the half-god. A dandelion is dying by the roadside, bent, drooped, all strength gone, stooped like an old man who slowly makes his way to the half-door to gauge the weather and spit. A fluffy feather flutters down from onto the eaves where the shallows nest. That should be swallows. A group of men at the crossroads, a convention of scarecrows discussing turnips and spuds and crumpled duds. Ploughed slow and deep, said the Bull Maguire. No man would dare call the bull a liar. Do you remember that film? Did you ever see that film, The Field?
Yes.
The Bull Maguire. Richard Harris. That field is mine. No Yankee will take that field from me. I worked it with the sweat of my brow. That field is mine.
Yes.
Did he not lift the big... I'm sorry, I lost control. Did he not lift the big stone at Rock Savage above his head without a falter? Some people say St. Patrick's altar. But who knows? Stories, myths, and legends spring up. When old men dream, by turf fires. How irksome and shirksome to see a plethora of poets in a pub, old raincoat pockets, stuffed with fragments of poems, some written under the influence of drink, when the mind can't think after throwing up in the kitchen sink. Each man hitting the bottle hard, peeing in the yard, throwing back whiskey, stout and ale, whilst searching blindly for the Holy Grail. Yeats, yells a wee man who worked for the civil service, was nothing but a chanter, a Celtic twilight romancer, Anglo-Irish with a farce. I wouldn't use his poems to clean my car. Back home they go, to a terraced row, where the cobwebs of defeat and rejection hang from soot-stained ceilings like trampled bunting after the parade is past. It must be great to be normal, to enjoy the crack without looking back at beauty past. A leaf skewered on a thorn, a rhyme conceived but yet unborn. Passing beauty fades away. All things lead to foul decay. All a man can do is carry on. A new dawn. I look up at the slate-grey sky and revel in the loathsome lie. But keep her lit until we get out. Punks like you're a dime a dozen. That's great, Susan.
We used to chase that boy home from school. We called him freckle-faced or red-headed fool. He was different. He wasn't cool like me. Sticks and stones didn't break any bones, but we never let well enough alone. And one day he ran away from home, you see. And I passed him as he walked away, and in his eyes I heard him say, one of these days you're gonna love me. You'll sit down by yourself and think about the times you pushed and shoved me, and what good friends we might have been. Then you're gonna sigh a little, maybe even cry a little, but one of these days you're gonna love me. Addie Sue was a small town beauty. I took one look at her and had to pull her to me. Lord knows she should have seen right through me when I promised her the world. At 17 you only want one thing, and I left her standing with my high school ring. Innocent tears in the pouring rain as I walk away, and I still see her in my dreams. And to this day she's whispering, one of these days you're gonna love me. You sit down by yourself and think about the time you turned from me, and what good friends we might have been. Then you're gonna sigh a little, maybe even cry a little, but one of these days you're gonna love me. Now everybody stands up, the congregation sings. It's a song of sweet forgiveness, and as the chorus rings, the wind blows clear my memory. The pages start to turn, and suddenly I'm singing the moment that I learned. One of these days I'm gonna love me and feel the joy of sweet release. One of these days I'll rise above me, and at last I'll find some peace. Then I'm gonna cry a little, maybe even laugh a little. But one of these days I'm gonna love me.
Oh, what a great song. That's Marcus Hummon. I haven't heard that for a long time. That's from an album called All in Good Time. Marcus Hummon, M-A-R-C-U-S, H-U-M-M-O-N. You know, he's a big singer, this guy. He contacted me about a year ago, you know. And I used to play this quite often, and he said, I believe you're playing this song. He said, thank you very much. Isn't that great? What a talent. You don't care, do you?
When's the Fiddler's Green Festival start?
Oh, later on.
Great.
I do believe something tells me August.
You don't, but you're not sure.
Something tells me
All right.
August.
And
I appeared at it last year.
Tom Crean. Tom
Well,
Crean.
you listen to me talking.
You don't know when it is.
I know, but I'm saying I appeared at it last year, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Did a wee thing.
Well,
what are you talking about?
Tom Crean.
Tom Crean? What about him?
You were to get me information on him.
Oh, that was Shackleton's man.
You were to get me.
Why wouldn't you just look it up yourself?
No, you were to get me the name of a book.
Look it up in the Google it.
You were to do it.
Why can you not? Thomasina, let her do it.
No.
Thomasina.
You told me you know a man who read extensively about him.
I've read extensively about him.
Well, you told me you didn't.
I know I lied.
I just want to read about him. I know a wee bit about him, but I want to know more about him. I want to get a book.
Don't use the machine. That's what that's for. That machine in front of you.
There's a call for you.
Stop annoying me. I was about 17, said Stephen Hall, and trying to get the wintergreen out of a tube. Wintergreen is the stuff we're talking about. I've got a lot of messages here about smells, some of which I can't talk about.
It's Thomasina. She's a new girl.
She's not herself.
Apparently it was Bill McCabe.
Bull McCabe.
Bull McCabe.
What did I say? Bull McGuire? I'm
I
sorry,
know
Bull
what you said.
McCabe. The field is mine. I was about 17 trying to get the wintergreen out of the tube, for wintergreen is indeed what it was. That's the smell we're talking about, the footballers used to use, or deep heat. It was a bit dry, and in a hurry I squeezed too hard. Out popped the wintergreen onto a towel I would use later for the shower. I used to rush on to play the rugby match. Sorry, I rushed on to play the rugby match, came back, and of course, had totally forgotten about the wintergreen on the towel. While I was drying myself off, and I had reached my legs when the heat started to kick in. Ah, he says, happy memories. The smell is Strokes liniment, or indeed wintergreen, or deep heat. People seem to say, how can I... Gentleman says, a man in Spain, says, how can I talk about smells without telling the story about the busload of wet finions? Well, I hasten to add, there is a story about that. It's happened to me. And I, of course, I was, I mean no offence by that, because, I mean, you and I were born Catholics.
What about the call?
And when we say finion, we do not mean to offend anybody.
What about the call?
But I'm telling the story. I'm going to talk about this because I've started. And so I mean no offence, because, I could be described as one myself, I suppose. But not in any political sense, but, in a general sense. But I was I was in a house one time.
No, you weren't.
That was a wee bit too quick.
You,
all right, I knew somebody.
I know the story.
I knew somebody who was in a house one time. And this person was indeed a lapsed Catholic.
No, it's not.
And
it's
no,
a
it's
wrong
not.
story.
I'm telling this. You see, this is how people get annoyed.
I know the true story. I know the right
story. No, you
story.
don't.
I do.
I've told so many versions. You don't know which one.
I was there when the story was told.
Ah, you're a liar.
I was there, and you've got it all wrong.
Anyway,
there's a girl waiting to talk to you.
All right then. This person who was sitting in a room full of people who are not Fenians.
No.
And this person was sitting there, and the persons who were sitting in the room thought that this person sitting with them was indeed a Fenian. And the granny said, "There's an awful smell out in that backyard. What is it?" And he said, "Just don't know what it is. What do you think it might be?" "I don't know. What's the smell like?" "Oh, it smells like a busload of wet Fenians."
Yeah.
The worst thing about it was that I knew what she meant. Because I used to go to school on a bus like that. Hello, good morning. They turned off the mic by mistake. I still haven't got the hang of it yet. Who's this now? Hello, good morning. Mary?
Hello.
Good morning, Mary. You seem to be a long way away. Or
Yes, you seem to be a long way away too. But, thank you.
No, we're having trouble with you, Mary.
I think I was listening to your poem there about the Bull Maguire, and I think he must have been in our field last.
All right, the Bull
Sunday.
The Bull McCabe.
We have.
Sorry, I can't. Can you do anything with that?
Can we try it a wee second?
Nothing to do with that.
Another wee bit.
Hello. Listen, would you mind if you ring back tomorrow?
That'll be fine.
On a landline.
On a landline. Landlines are better.
I'm on a landline.
Oh, it's very bad.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, will you try it tomorrow? We'll ring you back tomorrow.
That'll be lovely.
Thank you. Bye. Look, the significant others are fighting back.
I don't think you handled that well.
The significant others are what?
I don't think you handled that well at all.
I had too many things to do. I am Josephine, the significant other of your mature student, who certainly does not behave in a mature manner, anything but. He tells the same stories, listens to weird music, and believes the weather forecast has influence on the weather. According to him, Cecilia Daly gives good weather, Angie Phillips bad weather, and Frank Mitchell is just irritating. Well, I have to agree with that. Personally, I think Frank is all right, but sadly has no influence. I asked him to give me good weather for my daughter's wedding, and he said he would do his best, but it rained. As for your mature student, several years ago he told me I did not make custard as good as his mother. I left him. Now, I'm going to play a song now.
There's a thing I wouldn't thank you for.
Custard. Rick Nelson. I'm going to play a song now to take us out. It's called Hello, Mary Lou. And this is the first rock and roll guitar solo. This is the guitar solo that started rock and roll.
Hello, Mary Lou. Goodbye, heart. Sweet Mary Lou, I'm so in love with you. I knew Mary Lou, we'd never part. So hello, Mary Lou. Goodbye, heart.
Look, they've turned us down in Belfast. Did you hear that?
Sunny day, flash those big brown eyes my way. Ooh, I wanted you forever. I'm not one who gets his own. Swear my feet stuck to the ground. Though I never did meet you before. I said hello, Mary Lou. Goodbye, heart. Sweet Mary Lou, I'm so in love with you. I knew Mary Lou, we never part. So hello, Mary.
Here it comes, the first guitar solo, James Burton.
Goodbye, heart, sweet Mary Lou, I'm so in love with you. I knew Mary Lou, we never part. So hello, Mary Lou, goodbye, heart. Yes, hello, Mary Lou, goodbye, heart. Well,